thank you for having me.
Pleasure.
And I certainly would love to be involved in entrepreneurial center. As an entrepreneur myself, I started this just for myself, built it into $1.3 billion in assets and 47 people. And it was a lot of work. It took 15 years of work. So I love the entrepreneurial center. I love the drive of entrepreneurs. So I really applaud the mayor on making that a focal point in Stamford. Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Leonard Tannenbaum. Soy de descendencia cubana. Siempre he estado interesado en hacer un cambio positivo en nuestro país y especialmente en nuestra comunidad hispana. Somos una de las minorías de mayor crecimiento en los Estados Unidos y tenemos que tomar ventaja de esto. Pero para hacerlo necesitamos unirnos sin importar nuestra nacionalidad. Desde México hasta Argentina debemos unificar nuestras ideas y metas. Así lograremos crear un grupo fuerte y con voz para ser escuchados por nuestros gobernantes. Unidos saldremos adelante. Divididos estamos perdidos. So why am I here? Who am I? And I know that sounded a little bit community organizing, back to where I was when I was 18, but I think this is of the prime importance that the Hispanic population and the small businesses join together as a voice, because government doesn't hear you unless you join together. And the problem is, as I travel throughout the state with my PAC, Keeping America Competitive, trying to see what's important to small business owners and minority small business owners, and of course to my heart, the Hispanic population, what I found is people are very frustrated. What I found are people need help and all they see is regulatory tape. The first thing a small business gets in the state of Connecticut, the first thing within a week is a bill for a small business tax that should be repealed. If you want small business in the state, you should not be getting a tax as the first thing as a small business. What you should be getting is a letter, a congratulatory letter. Congratulations on starting your small business. You did the really hard step of taking risk, of trying to create a difference. And that's the letter you should get. Here are all the goods and services the state will provide you. They will provide you with counseling, we'll provide you with training, we'll provide you with small business loans. We see the SBA here. The SBA should be at the forefront. Should be that first letter should be with the SBA. We are one of the largest small business lenders in the country. We put out $300 million to small businesses through that wonderful organization, bipartisan, wonderful organization, the SBA. So it's a great resource for help. But the state has to also come behind that. Because I think the mayor said it exactly right. 80% of the nation's economy is driven from small business. Everybody knows that. And everybody says, oh, we're so promoting small business. Because it's an easy thing to say. But it's a hard thing to do. Because it's down to the locales, it's down to the communities, and it's down to the cities that makes the difference. And the politicians can't legislate that from Washington easily, without understanding where you came from. We need politicians that understand business, that have created their own businesses, as you have, as Linda has, as numerous other people running for Congress, both Democratic and Republican. These people actually created the backbone of our economy, not sat in political office to take advantage of that. There's nothing wrong with being a politician, but when the founders of the country created the Constitution, they did not intend it to be a full-time job. They intended the Senate to be a part-time job. They intended business owners and landowners throughout the country to temporarily hold this office to the benefit of the people, to the benefit of small businesses. We need to bring this country back to benefit the people, not the political landscape. Keeping America Competitive was formed just recently because I got so frustrated, as so many of you are, with the government. I'm busy creating my own business. I was busy building my company. You know, I'm so lucky that I grew from just me in 1998 in the basement of an office building where I leased out the other half of the basement, the 800 square feet, to save money because, you know, I didn't need all 800 square feet. I only need 400 square feet. Today, we're going to moving the entire company to Connecticut. Part of it is in Greenwich. And we only have 47 people. We continue to grow and we continue to hire, and that gives me pleasure every time I hire a new person. So I wanted to find out, traveling around the state, meeting the minority population, meeting fellow Hispanics, what's important to you? And please, afterwards, we have an email. If you guys come up with ideas, I know I was speaking to some of you, I really want this year to gather your ideas. It's more about fact-finding, listening. Then everybody says, oh, when are you going to do something? Next year. Because first you have to listen. And then you can take action. So we met the NFIB. I respect the National Federation of Independent Businesses. I think they're terrific. We're going to meet them more in Washington. But they're just as frustrated. Because small business owners have another problem. You guys don't have any time. You guys are busy. You guys are running your shops. You're running your stores. You're trying to earn money. What do you mean the aggravation of the idea of community organizing? Okay, it's for somebody else to do it. Because I got to earn money, and I can't afford to hire someone to take my place. That's the problem. And what we heard in the state's capital, was the biggest problem, in Greenwich so far, we're going to go to Stamford, we're going to go to New Haven, is the biggest problem so far is healthcare. The healthcare cost of adding a new employee is way too high. We can't, people are not hiring that incremental employee because healthcare costs. The second biggest thing we heard are people are moving out of the state, 2 to 1. I didn't say this is just listening. Why are they moving out of the state? Well, for some reason, our tax rate now became the same as New York's. Well, this state used to have a tax advantage over its surrounding states. But our tax rates have continually gone up over the past 6, 7 years. So now it's the same as New York. You would have told me that, 10, 12 years ago. I was forget it. Connecticut, that would never happen. We're losing our competitive advantage as a state. So we have healthcare, we have taxes, we have regulation. We need to organize. We know that, to have a voice. But we need to know what that voice is going to bring. You don't just organize for the sake of organizing. You organize to bring change. So please attend one of the lunches. I want you all to attend the lunch we have in Stamford. Aeneas has been a great friend. He was over at our house to learn a little bit about what Keeping America Competitive was doing. We appreciate a lot of the help of the Chamber, but we want you to become active in terms of giving us ideas, because it's not my ideas, it's your ideas. You're the small businesses. You're the ones that need help. I'm now 47 employees. I'm no longer under 20, like the mayor said, but I still view the small businesses as of primary importance, and we have 67 companies we lend to, and I try to help each one. So with healthcare, we have regulation, we have taxes. How about why is the Hispanic population important? We know about this, the importance in the nation. But we're here in the state of Connecticut. The state of Connecticut, we're 14%. The state of Connecticut, we're only 7% to the vote. Now that's because a lot of our children are becoming 18 to 25. It's the largest segment that's growing. But first of all, you guys, we have to vote. Hispanic, especially Hispanic small businesses, if you're not registered to vote, you're never going to be heard. You're never going to have any power. Because the only way people understand, politicians understand what you want, is by voting, and voting together. So you have to register to vote. You have to find a candidate that's going to embody your issues. And you have to find a candidate that's actually going to listen to what you have to say, and understand what you have to say. So the other important push we're going to see over the next 3 or 4 years that I'm going to try to accomplish, and I've been fortunate enough to grow this awesome business that I can now spend some time trying to do this, which is organizing the state, both small businesses and the Hispanic population, together as a united force to make a difference. You know how many politicians are Hispanic descent sitting in your state senate? Can you name one? How scary is that? It's wrong. Just like Florida, where Marco Rubio is amazing. I happen to be a big Marco Rubio fan. I don't know whether you are or aren't. I think he's eloquent, smart, and his opinions, he says what he thinks, which, again, like some of the people in Washington just never say what they think. We need those types of charismatic leaders here in Connecticut. And I think that it's going to happen. And, you know, and we're going to have, in addition, as we said, people that have had a job and built a business, from entrepreneur all the way up. So, I was in Washington. I just want to give a little bit of insight to my last Washington trip. Last week, I think. Stacy, last week? A couple of weeks ago. And I went to a bipartisan group. And I listened to 12 senators, 20 congressmen. And I sat among 25 leading leaders in the country. And I was the only minority. Isn't that amazing? No African Americans. No Asians. No Hispanics. All white. How's that possible? Anyway, I'm sitting around there, listening to all of them, and listening to how Congress, and all the senators and congressmen, I said this last night on Bloomberg, if you really want to be bored for an hour watching me co-host a TV show, you know, you could watch. But the key thing is, the amazing thing is, our congressman told me, to my face, nothing is going to get done this year. There's going to be no solution to the fiscal cliff this year, even in the lame duck session. Nothing will happen until the beginning of 2013. Nothing. They actually just say this. And then they just admit to it. Democrats and Republicans, bipartisan, it was a group called No Labels. No Labels tries to bring together Democrats and Republicans for solutions. That's the group that I became a member of as well. And it's insane that they just admit to it. Like, no problem. The same way they admit to not having a budget for 3 years. There's no budget. How about you guys? Can you imagine your businesses not having a budget for 3 years? Wouldn't that be amazing? Could you run your business without a budget? Well, the country's been running without a budget for 3 years because there's no business leaders in Congress. It's really, really scary. They just don't care. I'm really starting to believe that. There are those that care, right? You're generalizing anything. There's always people that do care. But in general, I'm very frustrated with the way our political system works. So I want to encourage you to join our network. I want to encourage you to push me a little bit, as some of my friends in the front row do. And when are you going to do something about it? I want to encourage, I like that. I respond to competition. I respond to being pushed. I respond to good ideas from good people that want to see change. Because I know all of you do. And please, if you want to see change as much as I do, come over, keepingamericacompetitive.org, get active, vote, and come together. And over the next 4 years, you'll hear a lot more about that. And I'm really happy that I was invited. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Larry.
Anybody have any questions? Nobody seems to ever want to raise their hands.
Why don't we do it next in your table here?
Absolutely.
Talk to
You guys can just find me and ask questions. I only live not too far away. Thank you, Elaine.
Thank you.